This is the 2021 Magic Arena Starter Kit. It's a great way to learn how to play Magic if you're new. It's similar to how the um, beginner's box with Jumpstart decks is also a good way to learn. And the cool thing about this, in addition to the physical decks, you also get these um, promo codes or whatever to put these decks onto Arena if you have Arena. Um, so each deck has a shiny um, hollow card. So we have Dragon's Guard Elite, which is a 2/2 creature, a human druid for one in a forest. It has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 counter on Dragon's Guard Elite. You can pay 4 and 2 forests, double the number of 1/1 counters on Dragon's Guard Elite. So depending on how many sorceries you're casting, a sorcery or instance you're casting or copying, the amount of one counters can get exponential after you cast the spells and then double the counters. Oran Reef Ooze. It's a 2/2 creature, an ooze for 2 in the forest. When Oran Reef Ooze enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. When Oran Reef Ooze attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each attacking creature with a 1/1 counter. So, I mean, adding counters to stuff if that's attacking that already have 1/1 counters, that's pretty cool. I don't know if they'll have doubling season, but anything like that that'll increase 1/1 counters too is pretty fun. Cragplate Balleth. It's a 6/6 creature, a beast for 5 and 2 forest. Has a kicker cost of 2 in a forest. This spell can't be countered. Has hexproof and haste. If Cragplate Ballast was kicked, it enters the battlefield with 4 1/1 counters on it. So, I mean, it's a 6/6 was that can't be countered with hexproof and haste, and it enters as a 10/10 instead of a 6/6 if you pay an additional 2 and a forest. So making it 7 and 3 forests. This is a green black deck. You have Cleaving Reaper. It's a 5/3 creature, an angel berserker for 3 and 2 swamps. Has flying and trample. Pay 3 life. Return Cleaving Reaper from your graveyard to your hand. Activate this ability only if you had an angel or berserker enter the battlefield under your control this turn. So, you know, 5/3 is flying and trample is pretty good. Getting it back to your, from the graveyard to your hand, a little bit of a drawback, but to, get such a powerful creature back, you're gonna expect that. Asmodeus, the Archfiend. It's a 6/6 legendary creature, a devil god for 4 and 2 swamps. Bendering Cornact. If you draw a card, exile the top card of your library face down instead. You can pay 3 swamps to draw 7 cards. And then you can pay a swamp to return all cards exiled with Asmodeus the Archfiend to their owner's hands, and you lose that much life. Vampire Spawn. It's a 2/3 creature, a vampire, for 2 in the swamp. When a vampire spawn enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And there's 3 copies of that guy. Spectre of the Fens. Fens. It's a 2/3 creature, a spectre for 3 in a swamp. Has flying. You can pay 5 in a swamp. Target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And you have 2 copies of that guy. Kirafel Kennel Master. It's a 4/4 creature, a zombie berserker for 4 and a swamp. When Kirafel Kennel Master enters the battlefield, up to 2 target creature each get +1/+0 and gain indestructible until end of turn. And the reminder text says, damage and effects that say destroy, don't destroy them. And there's 2 copies of that. Next is Oblivion's Hunger. It's an instant for 1 in a swamp. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Draw a card if that creature has a 1/1 counter on it. And the reminder text says, damage and effects that say destroy, don't destroy this creature. And 2 copies of that. Black Dragon. It's a 4/4 creature, a dragon for 5 and 2 swamps. Has flying, acid breath. When Black Dragon enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end of turn. There's 2 copies of that. Scurried Colony. It's a 2/2 creature, a squirrel for 1 in a swamp or 1 in a forest. Has reach. Squirrel Colony gets +2/+2 as long as you control 8 or more lands. And you have 3 copies of that. Dauntless Survivor. It's a 1/1 creature, a human warrior for 1 in a forest. When Dauntless Survivor enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. And there's 4 copies of that. I was actually starting to think that there weren't that many 1/1 counter things after the first 2 cards, but then, they decided to add some in the middle of the deck. Murasa Brute. It's a 3/3 creature, a troll warrior for 2 in the forest. Has no abilities, no keywords, just a vanilla 3/3 that costs 3. There's 3 of him, so I guess if you were going to upgrade this deck, that might be the first thing that would be swapped out is, another 3-drop that might have some keywords or abilities or something within the black-green theme. Might of Murasa. It's an instant for 1 in a forest. Has a kicker card cost of 2 in a forest. You may pay an additional 2 in a forest as you cast this spell. Target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, that creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn instead. And there's 4 copies of that. So, you know, a pump spell, but it's only until end of turn, so it's not adding counters, unfortunately. Rabid Bite. It's a sorcery for 1 in a forest. Target creature you control deals does damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. 3 copies of that. Evolving Wild. Sacrifice Evolving Wild, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield and shuffle. You have 4 copies of that. I'm not super excited about that card as taking up a land spot, other than some people like it for mana fixing or thinning out the deck. And then we go to your basic lands. There's 4, 6, 10. There's 11 swamps. And 12 forests. Now, you know, where some of the cards had duplicates, this is not a commander deck. No legendary creature to, like, lead your army. It's just a 60 card deck. Having multiple copies of some cards allows for more chances of drawing the cards you potentially want. So at some point this weekend I was also going to do the other deck, so keep tuning in for that and some more Magic related videos. Thanks and have a good day.